So doing corresponding parts of congruent triangles is kind of back to what we started with, almost, right? In a sense. But we're going to be using the 4 congruence theorems we talked about, right? So we've got those 4 listed up here. All right. So side, 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 angle, angle, or angle, angle, side. So today you have the option to use any of the 4, right? So this is your first time kind of looking at and saying, I need to look at all 4 options instead of just having 2. But then the second part, after you prove the triangle congruent, is if you notice, right, this prove spot, when we've seen problems like this before, it said prove a triangle is congruent to another triangle, right? Today we're talking about proving parts of the triangle congruent. So if we go back to the first lesson, we knew that if 2 figures were congruent, all the corresponding parts were what? Congruent, right? So it's going to be the same kind of idea today. So when we go through this, right, we'll look at 2 examples. So the first one, what have we talked about I always need to do with the given information? So I want to mark it, right? I want to make sure it's labeled, right? So if I look, right, KBC, right? So KBC is congruent to ACB. Is that labeled? Yeah. Yeah. Angle K is congruent to angle A. Is that labeled? Yeah, so good. So the next part is I need to check for what 2 things? Shared sides and vertical angles. Do I have either one of those here? The shared side. So I'm going to label that. All right. So once I do that, I'm going to do kind of what I did last week and say, I need to first prove that triangle KBC is congruent to triangle. If I said KBC, how would I name the other one? ACB. All right, so my first step here is to say how they're congruent. So it's when you ask yourself, so what do I know, right? You're okay, you. How many pairs of angles do I know? How many pairs of congruent angles do I have? 2, right? So I have 2 that are labeled, right? And how many pairs of congruent sides? 1. Okay, so this is where I have to look at and say, is it angle side angle or angle angle side? All right. So why is it angle angle side? You guys are right.
Because it's an angle and angle on a side.
The order because angle side.
So it's the order, right? The side isn't included. Is it in between the angles?
No.
So it's angle side. So that's the first part. Second part I want you to do is then take what they ask you to prove. Right, so KB is congruent to AC by, and then here's where it's always going to be the same reason, right? Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, or Cpctc, right? Writing out corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent would be tedious and awful. So we abbreviate to Cpctc, right? Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent.
Congruent parts correspond.
So so it's just corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent.
What are the corresponding
Parts of congruent triangles are congruent.
I think we should probably write that out.
So just remember Cpctc. Yeah. One other example, and you guys have time to work and get caught up on things.
Be quiet.
So I check my given information. Is it labeled that BA is congruent to DA? Yes. Is it labeled that CA is congruent to EA?
Yes.
Yes. What else do I know here? What angles, Bryce?
A. The 2 angles that are by A.
The vertical angles by A. Right? So now I look and I say, how many pairs of sides do I know?
4. 2.
2 pairs, right? And 1 pair of angles, right? So what's my only option here?
Angle side.
Side angle.
Side angle side,
Oh.
right? So I can say that triangle ABC, right, is congruent to triangle. How would I label the other one? ADE. By side, angle, side.
We still do the same thing, like the angle C is kind of with angle E by.
Yep. What's up, Ty? So, almost done. Right, I've got the triangle congruent. So then I just write down what they want me to prove, right? So in this case, it's angle C is congruent to angle E. And it's going to be by Cpctc. Right? And that's really all you're looking at.